So too long didn't watch boss guide for Xavius. Overstuffed Xavius. What is that model? Before I get into the phases, I'm going to go over a couple mechanics. First mechanic is corruption. Everyone will have a corruption bar. Getting hit with essentially anything will add to this corruption bar. Once at 33 corruption, you'll start to see Dread Abomination. You'll start slamming the ground every 10 seconds. Move out of it. At 66 corruption, you'll start spawning pink swirls under you that deal AoE damage and add more corruption, so move out of those and be wary of range. At 100 corruption, you'll start to begin the Descent into Madness, which gives you a damage buff for 150% damage, but only lasts 20 seconds, and after that you get mind controlled. This is important for the last phase. Next thing to go over is the Dream. At 95%, half the raid will enter the Dream, and at 60%, the other half will. It'll always have a tank and half the healers in the Dream. These players will gain Dream Simulacrum. This will last for 3 minutes, or until you take fatal damage, or until you reach 100 corruption. It acts as a second life, and all the cooldowns and mana you use in this will be reset after you come out. Phase 1. Every 20 seconds, Xavius will spawn an ad. These will spawn lurking eruptions. They'll fixate on players and deal a lot of damage and corruption if they reach. But they can be intercepted, and the Dream players should do this. And then at 1 minute and 2 minute and 20 seconds, he'll cast Manifest Corruption, which will deal damage to the raid and spawn a Corruption Horror ad. This ad needs to be tanked by the Dream tank. He does a lot of single target corruption, also AoEs. He needs to take #1 priority when he spawns. It means all DPS switch over. Second thing Xavius does is marks 2 targets with Nightmare Blades. After 4 seconds, Nightmare Blades will go across the entire arena in the line that these 2 players create. These players need to run to the other side of the room, or at least where it won't hit anyone else, because they add a lot of corruption and do a lot of damage. Last thing Xavius does is mark tanks with Darkening Soul. This is a stacking dot that should be dispelled around 3 to 4 stacks. It does damage to players in 25-yard radius when dispelled on the tank, so the tank should move out. Should tank swap if possible when the ad is enough. The Dispeller also takes damage and gains corruption, so primarily the Dream healer should take care of this. Once Xavius reaches 65% health, it'll switch over to phase 2. This will put the other half of the raid in the Dream while the others have already exited. It needs to be tanked in the middle of the room because on the outside he'll start spawning Inconceivable Horror ads. These will start spawning Corruption Meteors. It puts a big circle around a player. All the Dream players should get in the circle and soak with them. They also do Bonds of Terror, which tethers 2 players together. They need to get close to dispel it. These ads will slowly walk towards Xavius. If they get close, Xavius will start casting Dark Runation. This will AoE everyone and add corruption, so the ads need to die fast. Once they die, they'll create a pool at their feet, which will respawn them in 15 seconds if the player does not stand in it. The Dream players should do this. Soak all the puddles before you push them into phase 3 at 30%. There's no Dream, so this will get a little hectic. Start spawning Nightmare Tentacles every 20 seconds. These will attack random players, so there needs to be a good balance of killing the tentacles and DPSing the boss down. Along with this, Xavius will still cast Nightmare Tentacles, Corruption Meteor, and Blackening Soul. He'll also start buffing himself that'll cause corruption every 30 seconds. Lust and Burn while using the corruption DPS boost to your advantage.